Hey everyone, Pupsker here, and today in Warframe we're going to be going over what exactly is Warframe Endgame. This has pretty much been a discussion since the beginning in time of Warframe, as the game is set up very weird and very awkwardly if you compare it to pretty much any looter shooter, any MMO, pretty much any game that has quests, has multiplayer. Okay, Warframe is a weird game, and you don't often see games created or set up like Warframe. It's a mix between an MMO, a horde shooter, looter shooter, grind simulator. At this point, it's a lot of different genres mixed into one, but primarily third person farm simulator, right? So, what exactly is Warframe Endgame? Well, Warframe starts off pretty simply, right? Beginning game, you load into the game, you start playing through the star chart, figuring out the game, playing through quest lines, unlocking items, guns, mods, Warframe, right? Beginning game, early game of Warframe is just figuring out what exactly Warframe is. There's too much to Warframe, some would say, so early game lasts quite a while. There's no real definitive when is early game done type scenario. You can consider it when you're done the star chart, when you unlock maybe a good chunk of the star chart, maybe not even completing it, right? As completing the star chart already is going to take quite some time. Maybe you'll say the early game mark is past, like, I don't know, maybe a certain quest like Second Dream, Sacrifice, I don't know, it's up to you, but that is early game. It is discovering and figuring out what exactly Warframe is and struggling for a while. And then you get into mid game. And mid to early game Warframe is weird because the transition is pretty seamless and you don't actually notice when exactly that happens, as mid to early game Warframe starts to look really similar, because once you get into mid game Warframe, you're essentially just playing the game however you feel like playing, right? You might not have you're not even close, I should say generally, to having everything fully unlocked. Usually, mid-game would look like you have a good chunk of the star chart, if not all the star chart unlocked. You have all of the open worlds kind of looked at. You've taken a look probably at most auxiliary, secondary, weird systems in Warframe, and you're just kind of exploring around, unlocking what you feel like, right? Who knows if you've really completed all of the quests in Warframe or not, but at a certain point, quests don't really matter. You kind of only want to do a quest if you want to unlock maybe the specific thing the quest does unlock, like whatever Warframe that may be, right? Or you just want to finish off the story mode and get done the new war, right? That's what mid-game is. Mid-game in Warframe is you just kind of deciding where you want to go with the game. Because once you get through most of the main mission, not even like to the new war, right? Once you just get through the main mission, get through the star chart, you start to realize you can spend a lot of time in one or two areas, right? You can spend tens, if not hundreds of hours in each individual open world area and not progress at all. And that can be your mid-game for a while, right? You can just only progress on the open world, nowhere else, only the open world. Maybe you'll just start running arbitrations to get a ton of endo and unlock all of your mods' fullest potential, right? That's the thing about mid-game in Warframe. It's starting to be just whatever you want it to be. You could start hunting down the bosses on all of the nodes that you've unlocked to get all of the Warframes that you unlock. Maybe your mid-game is one of the folk that just snipes for MR instantly, right? Mid-game in Warframe is where things are unlocked. You're nowhere near done, but things are unlocked, and oh boy, does Warframe love mid-game. Like, that is Warframe's bread and butter, right? Early to mid-game is mostly Warframe. You have everything to do. There's hundreds of weapons, hundreds almost, of everything. There's 10s, 50s, 60s, 70, who knows how many Warframes there'll be by the time like you watch this video. You never know. There's so much stuff. I think at the time of making this video, if you go into your profile, the master rank like affinity unlocks that give you MR, there's 660, maybe 700 of them. So there is a lot to do in the game. Doesn't mean you have to do it. Actually, that's the funny thing about Warframe. Once you get to the mid-game, you've realized, I have a lot of things unlocked, and yet I've barely done a lot of the game, but there's nothing that I need to do. So it's up to you to decide what you want to do. You can progress pretty linearly. You can progress, just shoot right on up and get everything unlocked so you can do every little possible thing, but that'll take ages because, again, there's so much to the game. So that's mid-game in Warframe. You have things unlocked and you have choices, but you're not specialty amazing at everything, right? You can just figure out how to do things and struggle along like most people. And then begins the mid to late game Warframe transition. And again, Warframe Endgame is a weird thing, as Endgame Warframe is, in my case, and what I would consider, is when you have things kind of unlocked, you understand the game, you can play through any mission type pretty easily, and there's really nothing you want to or have to do unless you feel like it, right? You know, you don't want to do this, just don't do it, go do something else. There's not a single thing that you are pushed to do at Endgame Warframe, and that is kind of the problem. Once you hit Endgame Warframe, you're done anything that really matters, right? And I've hit this for a while. It depends what you consider Endgame Warframe, though. Is it Master Rank 30? Is it Legend Rank 1? Is it Legend Rank 2? Is it when you have all your syndicates maxed out? Is it when you have all your open world stuff maxed out? Is it when you have all your focus trees maxed out? Every single thing from all of the quests fully complete, unlocked, maxed out to its fullest potential, right? What is Warframe Endgame? Do you consider Endgame just running Eidolons over and over again until you go insane? Do you consider it running survivals or disruptions until enemies are thousands of levels in, really gaining no extra progress or anything, but, you know, that's Endgame Warframe. You're just doing it to do it, right? What is Endgame Warframe? Is it Profit Taker? Is it Exploiter Orb? Is it the Tusk Thumper on the Plains of Eidolon? Is it Deimos Isolation Vaults? That's the thing. There's no concrete Warframe Endgame, and there never will be, as Warframe Endgame is a less important mid-game. It's when you're at the point where you can do whatever the hell you want, you can farm whatever you want, you have everything for the most part unlocked, you have all of the pathways to do everything unlocked, and you have probably a good understanding of all of it, but you just might not care about a ton of random things. Like in my case, I don't give a shit about most of the focus stuff. I don't give a shit about most of the operator amps. Most modular weapons I simply don't care about, as you can always just Google the optimal modular weapon type setup or things like that. So modular weapons start losing their purpose even faster. Builds are fine, you know, just build however you want, but I've never really thought of Warframe Endgame to have super amazing builds, because Warframe mid-game, Warframe early game, Warframe endgame, right? However you start learning how to build, eventually you just get to the point where you hopefully know how to build, you like building Warframe a certain way, and you can last however long you want to do in missions, and you know, you usually just jump out when you get bored or when you get the C-drop rotation. That really is Endgame Warframe. It's mid-game, but with some flair and a little bit of pizzazz, right? Warframe at the moment doesn't quite have a proper endgame for what most people would consider endgame in games. Most people consider endgame gear power farming, right? And boss farming. Or PvP. Those are usually the specter of general endgame stuff. PvE, grinding for gear to get stronger and more powerful, or PvE rankings, and possibly PvP rankings, right? Either or, right? But usually PvP rankings, rank PvP, yeah, that's endgame. But Warframe doesn't have anything of like that that's important at all. Conclave is a game mode in the game that Most people don't touch, don't play because PvP is dead in the game. It's a worthless game mode. It adds currently 0 value to the game, and the items in the PvP shop are memes for the most part, so it just straight up doesn't matter. Warframe's just, honestly, it's a weird game, and after 9 years of development, it really shows in pretty much every aspect of Warframe. Since Warframe isn't a linear, like a typical type of MMO, where it has expansion packs where it makes old content kind of meaningless, it tries to do the thing where it makes all content equally meaningless by the time you get to the end game. So there's equally no reason to do anything. It's just a chill farming simulator, right? Warframe's just a fun, casual game in which updates come out, you farm the new things, you pretty much take a break. There is a certain point, and a lot of Warframe veterans that realize, right, there's, you get to a point and you're just kind of done. And then they start, I guess, looking for something that isn't in Warframe. They start looking at Warframe like it's World of Warcraft, expecting some sort of endgame dungeon raid PvE experience, when Warframe already has that. It's bossing, and it's isolation vaults, it's railjack, it's Kuva Lich encounters. Warframe has its endgame bosses and its endgame dungeon type scenarios. They're just, not comparable to a traditional MMO, and pretty easy. That's why Warframe Endgame isn't Endgame, because it just is mid-game, but extended. It's always going to be this weird argument, this weird talk about what's this, what's that, what exactly does this fucking mean for Warframe, and at the end of the day, hopefully people realize Warframe's just a chill, fun farm sim. You can do whatever you want, you can find out and figure out whatever you want to be your endgame, but as long as you're having fun, you should be good to go. That's the general idea of playing video games. Have fun, don't, hate them, and try not to go crazy. I just want to talk about this because once in a while the what the hell is endgame discussion gets brought up in Warframe, and it always just comes down to endgame is midgame, except you have more choice and you're pretty much stronger. Yeah, just do what you want. Warframe has things that traditional MMOs have, and it also has the exact opposite of what traditional MMOs have, so it's a weird game. You gotta love it or hate it, right? But clearly with the amount of videos I've made and the amount I've played it, yeah, clearly I love it. I don't imagine I'll be one of the people that gets 10,000 hours in and then's like, I hate the game now. No, dude, I have like 5,000 hours of Warframe shenanigans across making videos and playing the game. Obviously, I love the game. It's just once you get to endgame, right? You might want to calm down, slow down, and chill out because the game can get boring. There's a lot of other great games out there, and it might be a good idea for you to check some of them out. So thank you all for watching. That's the end of this video. If you liked it, you can follow me on Twitch. You can use Twitch Prime to sub. You can sub on YouTube. Join the membership if you want to support the channel monetarily. Use creator code Pupsker if you ever, use the Epic Game Store. And then, as always, I have random social medias. You can follow those, but hey, I just make content online and do whatever I feel like doing. So thank you all for being here and supporting the shenanigans. I will see you later. Peace.